this video, I'm very excited to show an update of the Thompson Chain-Reference Bible, now available in the New American Standard Bible. It is revised and updated. This is put out by Zondervan, and it's an update of the Legacy Edition, which is also available. The Legacy Edition of the NASB is the 77 text, but this updated edition is the NASB 95 text, as you see here. This one that we're looking at is the black genuine leather cover. It comes in this very nice two-piece box, and the back of the box tells you about this Bible, a lot of the details. The print size that we're going to see in this Bible is a 9.5 size for the biblical text. And on the bottom corner here, it does tell you the retail price of this is $164.99. So it's definitely on the expensive side, but I think as we look at this in more detail, you'll see why the price is as much as it is. And the first thing that I will say about that is we are looking here at the genuine leather edition. They have Premier Collection Edition, which would be the highest end, but they also have less expensive editions with synthetic or imitation leather material for the cover. But this is a genuine leather. To me, it looks like it's probably a stamped grain. When you look inside, it does say that it is a calfskin leather cover. I think, if I had to guess, this would not be premium calfskin, but this would probably be something like a calf split leather. So it's not going to be the highest quality, and they are stamping the grain to give it that grain pattern that you see. But it is leather. It's genuine leather. It's real, and it does have a nice look and feel to it. Also on the spine, you have a very ornate, very nice looking ornate design here. So that's nice, and it is perimeter stitched, by the way. Gold gilt page edges, and a red and black ribbon. Red and black ribbons that are angle cut, double-sided satin. They've really improved the ribbons in this, and if you compare it to the Legacy Edition, I'll do that later, you'll see some differences, and one of the improvements is the ribbons. Looking inside here, you have synthetic material, vinyl type paste down liner for this edition. And it has the presentation page, title page, the publisher title page, and looking at the copyright information here, this is printed in South Korea. So we've got a genuine leather cover printed in South Korea. I think these are a couple of the reasons that you're seeing the price as much as it is. China printings, I'm guessing, could probably get a cheaper printing, less expensive printing if they printed in China. That would be one factor in the pricing. But I know a lot of people really prefer to see printing outside of China. And so I think for most people that's really considered a bonus or a benefit to have this printed in South Korea. And this shows you the table of contents here, the contents of this Bible. And they have really made some nice improvements in this updated edition. One of the improvements is just telling you everything right at the front here as to the page numbers, the locations of all the helps that you'll see in the back. And you're going to see this similar page here, or the same page, in the back of the Bible as well, at the front of the help section. So they've really taken the Thompson chain and made it even more user-friendly. You do see here the foreword and preface to the New American Standard Bible. And I think personally them going with the NASB 95 was a good call. They could have gone with the NASB 2020, But I think the user base, the primary user base of the Thompson Chain-Reference Bible are people that like these more historic study Bibles and Bible helps, which the Thompson Chain is. It's something that's been around a long time. So using the 95 NASB probably hits that demographic better, in my opinion. And it does tell you how to use the Thompson Chain-Reference Bible at the front here. And then you get into the Old Testament. Another user-friendly thing that they've done as an update is they've taken the introductions, the introductory material related to the book of the Bible that you're reading, and they put that at the front of the book. I believe in the previous editions of the Thompson Chain, those would have all been in the back as well, with the other helps. So having them in the front here just, again, makes this more user-friendly, but it's the same information. And oh, and by the way, that information is very nice. I mean, it's succinct, but it gives you some good information. The author, the date written, purpose, so on and so forth. Even a kind of an outline here of this particular book of the Bible. And then you have the chains, and this is called the Thompson Chain-Reference Bible. So the references are chain references. They're going to cover topics and show you those references as a chain throughout the Bible. So you go from one reference to the next through the Bible, covering that specific topic. And the way this is formatted, this is in some ways similar to the Legacy editions, but it has been updated in some ways. So the font, for example, is the Comfort Print now, the NASB Comfort Print for this edition. And I love the NASB Comfort Print. It's a 9.5 size for the text. And you can tell they put a lot of care and detail into the production of these Bibles. And one evidence of that is, I noticed this, whenever you have a paragraph change, they actually use a different color. They use red for the new paragraph verse numbers. And I just think that's such a nice detailed touch, which shows the care that they put into the production of this. It's also a two-color scheme in general, so the headings at the top of the page, the headers, the section headings are in red. As I said, the verse numbers for new paragraphs are in red. The rest of the verse numbers are black. The two columns are in the center of the page, and then you have your chain reference topics on the outside. So with the Thompson Chain, they have a number that goes with each topic, and you can look in the back for that number, and that will cover the topic. It'll show you all the references in that topic in the back, the references that go with that topic. But you also have there the chain reference for where you're at in the Bible. So if you're here, it'll give you the next reference in the chain that you're looking at. So I know that might be a little confusing, but I know Randy Brown, for example, has some really good videos on the Thompson Chain-Reference Bible if you want to understand it better, if this is new to you. So the changes here really are just tweaks on the original, just kind of updating the look of it. And I'll show you a comparison so you can see, but I would say overall it has a cleaner look to it than it used to have. It was much more busy looking, and the font was smaller, harder to read. So this just has a clean, more modernized look. The bottom here does have translator notes. One thing I'll say is I think this is the condensed set of translator notes, which may disappoint some people. But Zondervan does have, I know one of their Bibles, the NASB Reference Bible, Classic Reference, has all the translator notes. So you can always get a Bible with all the translator notes from Zondervan with the NASB. But, you know, you got to remember, they're trying to put a lot of information in this Bible, and it's a big Bible as it is. So putting the full set, I could see, would take up even more room. And again, you can use another Bible like this as a companion. And I personally would recommend, this is a good one, has full set of translator notes and is easy to carry. So it's a great companion to the Thompson Chain. Just a suggestion if you're really into the NASB. And Zondervan is, and this, by the way, is also the NASB 95. So Zondervan is doing a great job making the NASB available in some wonderful editions. And now an updated Thompson Chain NASB. Absolutely fantastic. The paper here is pretty nice. I mean, because it has a lot of pages, I think it's over 2,000 pages. It's pretty thin paper, but it's not tissue paper thin. It actually has quite a nice feel to it, and the opacity is pretty good. It's line matched, so again, has a very clean look to it. As you get through the Bible here, I'll show some poetry just so you see the formatting there. Because these are very thin columns, you can see the poetry is broken up quite a bit. But I think it still looks nice for what it is. I mean, again, this is a reference Bible, so it's not going to be focused on making the text layout as nicely as maybe a reader type Bible or a single column Bible. The point of this kind of Bible is to pack as much information on a page as possible. And I would say with this new format, they're doing that, but they're still making it look as clean as possible. And yes, it looks busy to some degree, but I would say it's an improvement over the formatting of the older editions. Let's get through the Old Testament here. And New Testament has a title page. You also have a chart. They've updated the charts, give them a more modern look. And when we get to the back, we'll see kind of how they've changed the look in the back too. And you have, of course, the formatting that you're used to seeing in the NASB. So Old Testament quotes that are in the New Testament are in these small caps. They will also capitalize pronouns for deity, which I see an example here and here. Capitalize the H for Jesus. And then they also have italics for supplied words in the NASB. So you see here, those words are in italics. Those are added for clarification by the translators. So those are features, as well as those footnotes. People really like the NASB because it's just such a good study type translation for very detailed type people. And it is a red letter text for the words of Christ. They've done a very good job with the red letter. I think you can tell in what I'm saying in this review that my overall sense is they have done a fantastic job with this new edition of the Thompson Chain. I'm very grateful that Zondervan took over the production of the Thompson Chain. They, to me, didn't just do a minimal effort to try to, make money. They actually, I think, as they said, they consider themselves stewards of this legacy, and that's why I think they've put so much care and attention into these updates, and I'm very impressed. It is more expensive than previous Thompson Chain Bibles, but I would say they've really, there's a reason for that. They've improved the quality, and aside from the quality of materials, we also have to recognize inflation plays a part too. And so I think for, where we're at economically and the materials and the printing that they've used for this Bible, I can see why the price is where it is. As you get to the end of the biblical text, then you get to the help section. Very extensive chain reference help section in the back here. And again, you have that same contents page that you saw at the beginning of the Bible. So very helpful, I think, just making everything accessible and user-friendly. That's the theme of this update that they've done. And when you get into it here, they do have the alphabetical index of topics, so you can look up the topics easily all together here in the back. And then after that, you're going to get into the actual topics here. The numerical index is what it's called. So as you're looking at the numbers in the biblical text or next to the biblical text, you can go back here and find those topics in the back by number. And they even have a lot of the references printed out together here, so you can just read through the chain references all together. And the ones that are in the text or next to the text in the Bible are in red, and then there's some also extra references related to the topics that are in black. All right, after that, you're going to have other helps as well. And I'm not going to go through each and every one of these, but I want you to see they do have a lot of the things that you've seen in the previous Thompson chain. They've just updated the look. I will say they don't have as many illustrations. In the previous editions, things tended to have more of an illustrated look to them. Whereas I'd say things are now more done in chart form, outline form. But to me, that's just kind of modernizing it. I think one other difference, and I know some people may be disappointed it doesn't have the archaeological section, but something we have to keep in mind is that that information would need to be updated quite often to be an up-to-date archaeological section, and that would just take a lot of resources and money for Zondervan to do that. And also, it would make a larger Bible than this already is. So I think by taking that out, it's allowed them to, have, I think, more opaque paper and have the things in here that are really the most essential to what makes this study Bible or this reference Bible so helpful to people. They have a topical treasury here. There's another feature that you see. Christian workers' tax. I mean, you see there's just so much back here, verses to memorize. And then, I didn't even show you everything in detail, but so much information that's helpful. And then you have the New American Standard Bible Dictionary Concordance Thesaurus. And then after that, you have table of weights and measures and monies. And then you have a color map index. So this is the index to the maps that we're going to see at the end here. And, also before the maps, there are some lined note pages, several of those. So that's nice that they included some note pages in the back. And then you have the maps on glossy or semi-gloss cardstock paper. So if you're in need of a reference Bible, this is fantastic. And you can see there's just so much in here. One thing I will say too is I've noticed they've really put a lot of care into the construction of this. And so back in the back, I did notice there is overcast stitching. Also in the front, I noticed it. It's hard to see on camera, but there is overcast stitching in the front and back. So that's an extra line of stitching. Sometimes when people see that, they think that there's something wrong with their Bible. But that overcast stitching actually helps hold the Bible together, reinforces it. And with a big Bible like this, that is wonderful that they've added that extra stitching to keep the text block intact with the cover. So they've really used good materials, and they've bound it, I think, in a way that it's going to hold up well. So as I said, this is the updated edition, an update of the older Legacy edition, which they do still have available. And I said early on I was going to show that, so I'll show you how these two look in comparison to each other. And of course, there are going to be people who like the old style. So it's nice that they've continued to make this available. I believe this one was printed in the United States. And I will say, in my opinion, that the paper in the new one is better. It's more opaque, and it being line matched in larger font, that's also helpful. The features in this one overall I think are just more user-friendly. Another thing I'll note here is the red letter text in the New Testament. It's pretty good. They did a good job. But I would say overall the print is not quite as nice as what we're seeing in this new edition. So when you get to the New Testament here, I'll show you a comparison. They did a good job though with these Zondervan printings of the Kirkbride text block. But I would say the red in this is just consistently nice and bold, even better than the old edition. The other thing about this old edition is this was bound very tightly and has that cockling, that noise that you hear when you run your finger over the middle. I'm not really hearing that in this new edition. So this is the 77 NASB, 95 NASB. Both, I think, are going to appeal to certain people. Let's look at the back here. Like I said, in the back of this one, you're going to have more illustrative helps. You're going to see a lot of the same types of things in the back of the new one, but they're not going to be as many pictures. It's going to be more charts, but I would say overall, you're getting, a lot of the information that you already had, but just a more user-friendly format. But both are available, the updated as well as the legacy editions. I do have a review of this if you want to see this one in more detail. So that is a look at the Thompson Chain-Reference Bible, now in the revised and updated edition of the New American Standard Bible. If you have any questions or comments about this, I'd love to see that in the comments section below. But thank you so much for taking a look at this with me from a first perspective.